Well, Kim D, it's such an honor and a pleasure to have you here on Misunderstood. It's been a long time coming.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm so excited that we got to do this. I really am. Especially the way we started.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that for a second because we came into each other's universe because of a mutual connection.
Yes.
Should we, thou shall
I
not
have
be
no
named
problem.
or,
No, I
okay.
have no
So,
problem.
well, listen, I don't want to necessarily start another feud here, but I do want to talk about it for a second because,
Okay.
it's been the topic of some of your podcasts.
Yes.
And also
Yes.
because of your feud with David, you ended up
Yeah.
actually starting a podcast of your own and a new business. So there was a big silver lining out of that whole thing.
Blessing. It
Yeah.
was a blessing. Listen, I'm the first one to say this. How that, how it happened was not very nice, but it ended in a very good way. And a
Right.
very good way.
Right. So somehow I got entangled in the snarl because I started filling in, I guess, when you were on the outs with David on his Patreon. So he would ask me once in a while to do it. And so somehow I think that made you angry because you thought I was siding with him or whatever. And then I think he came on a show with me once to talk about a little bit of like what the feud was. Now I can't even remember. But all I know is that people started sending me things saying, oh, Kim D does not like you and has some,
Yeah. Yeah.
words about you. And so I think I DM'd you and I just said, hey, listen, you don't know me. And I don't have anything bad to say about you. And I understand you're having a feud with David, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. And I've heard you a couple times talk on your podcast about me and kind of get the facts wrong. And it bothered me. So I said, listen,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about me, I'd like you to know who I am first. Because if you don't like me after you know me, that's fine. But if you don't know me and you talk badly about me, I had a problem with that. So I think we were able
Absolutely.
to work through that.
We really did. Listen, your DM was somehow hidden. So I didn't, you DM me and I didn't see it for like maybe 20 days later. So I see the DM and I'm like, oh my God, I would never want you to think that I ignored the DM. I felt terrible. So I immediately contacted you and said, Rachel, I would love to speak with you. I would love to speak with you. I would love to straighten this out. Yes, I was like hurt by certain things. I wanted you to understand what upset me.
Yeah.
And we cleared the air immediately. We were fine. We wound up talking on the phone for a long time. We have a lot in common. So it worked out very well.
Yeah.
It's two adult women empowering each other and saying, you know what, misunderstanding, like misunderstood.
Mhm.
And we made it right, which I'm very happy about.
Right. And then, I have been sent a couple other comments from people because I guess you have someone that you do the show with once in a while. And it's terrible that can't remember her name at the moment. But I think you mentioned you were going to do my show. And she said, oh, you got to be careful of her because she's very scandalous, which still kind of bums me
Really?
out.
I
Yeah.
don't remember that. I
And it
don't.
and it bummed me out because you didn't stick up for me, but it's fine because you still don't know me well enough. But I just want to remind you that just because someone's been scandalous in the past or been involved in a scandal, I wouldn't even call myself scandalous, by the way,
No.
because I've been involved in a scandal, I've been able to learn from that, deal with
Yeah.
it, become a better person. And I don't think it's fair that someone, especially a woman, wouldn't be all for second chances. So that hurt my feelings that she said that,
Well, I really don't even know who that is. I really don't remember that,
It's the
so
girl that used to
I'll
be
delve
on
in.
it's the girl that used to be on the show, I think. I don't know. I'll have to think after the show and remind you of
Think
her
if
name.
you yeah, let me know. Let me
Yeah.
know.
Anyways, so let's move
Okay.
on from that. You have created a podcast that is obviously doing really well. I see your clips all the time. You've become the sort of guru on all things about Real Housewives of New Jersey. Can you talk about your podcast a little bit and what you
Sure.
cover, when it's on, all that stuff?
Yeah. My podcast, I film it in the studio every Wednesday, and then it's a Patreon. It
Mhm.
drops every Saturday. Okay. So you have to join. I have two levels, two tiers. One is regular tier that you see my podcast, and then the other one is they get to do a virtual with me once a month, and we have so much fun. We all do a virtual and we all talk. And I was reading some of my book to them or whatever. So there are two tiers. With that said, what we do also is we do current events, hot topics. So we don't just talk about Jersey. We talk about all the different housewives and we talk about what's in the news. Okay, what's in the news. And the only thing really we don't cover, which I would suggest no one does unless you have a political show, is politics. Okay.
Mm.
So other than that, we kind of talk about everything. And lately, a lot of people, my Patreons and my fans, I'm going to say, want to hear more about my life and things that I've done. So we do a lot of shows like that. We do fashion. We do a lot, like we'll put up the outfits that the girls wore on the reunion, or what they wore in all the different episodes, and we critique them. You know,
Yeah.
I've been in fashion since I was 15, so we critique. And so we kind of have it's just we rounded it all out, almost like a Wendy Williams, Joan Rivers. We do it all.
Oh
We
my
do
God,
it
I
all.
love that. Do you
Yeah,
ever cover like true crime, or is that not your thing?
not yet, but you never know. I mean, we would do that. We did. We're doing some P Diddy, you know, so we
Oh yeah.
definitely covered some of that, and we will continue to do that.
And for people that haven't, subscribed to your Patreon yet, do you have guests every week or you have a co-host? Like explain that a
I
little.
have a panel. I have a panel, meaning I have different people come. I have two regulars, Angel
Mhm.
and Lorraine. My other girl, Barbie, who's like Miss Fashionista. She's styled since she was a very young girl, all Hollywood, LA, all of that. So she'll come on and do some fashion. And I also have some of the podcasters that are New Jersey or wherever come on and they sit on the panel. This week I have the hairdresser that they've been talking about that was at
Lena.
BravoCon with Danielle Cabral. So she's coming on the show. So it's random. Whoever
Yeah.
wants to sit in sits in with me.
Well, that'll do really well since Lena was
Yeah,
a big
thank
part of
you.
this last episode.
Well,
So
this
let's
is Karen. Lena and I talk. I have some quotes from her. Lena's a good
oh,
friend of mine. But this is Karen, the one who supposedly all that happened in BravoCon, where she was put in that hotel. And now her and Danielle, she did free hair for like 3 years. And now they're like real enemies. So she's coming on to defend herself and how she worked really hard and didn't get any credits whatsoever. So I don't like that. I don't like that. So
right.
she's coming on to tell her side of the story.